welcome back to the Compound Podcast. This is episode 182. 182.
Said it with confidence this time, boy.
Saw it on the thing. Saw it on the Zoom.
Halloween episode.
Presented by Parse Rum, my favorite rum, your favorite rum. It's Halloween. You're gonna give out some trick or treat candy.
Zack's sitting on the front step, he said, with Chop.
Yeah.
And they're handing out
And
candy
a
all
bottle
night.
of Parse.
Yep.
That's what I love about Halloween is you can have a bottle of Parse. Don't give it to the kids.
Not
but have
handing
a
it
little-
out.
Nope, not to the kids.
Not to the kids, but have a little yourself. Plant a
Or
tree.
give it to the parents bringing their kids around. The dads aren't happy walking around in the cold. Here's a shot.
Get a little
Parse.
bit of get them a little bit of the 3-year. Have a little
Well,
little
mixy.
mix. Make a little mix drink. Make a little punch. Make a little rum punch for the people walking around. Huh, Zach?
Not for the kids.
Yeah.
For the kids,
No, not for the kids. Not for the kids.
but for the parents. Parse rum. Go to Benny's local liquor store. Ask about Parse.
I like the energy we got today. I don't know what it is. I'm feeling good energy today. I'm just feeling it.
Tom's nodding along. Tom likes it.
I don't know. We got on. We were chopping it up before. I'm feeling good.
We should start with the World Series. Okay. Do you want to start with game one or do you want to start with last night?
We should probably talk about game one.
All right. Start with game one. Crazy game. Texas walks it off. I know someone
Oh, yeah.
who was at the game and left in the 7th inning.
No.
What are we
Oh.
doing?
Are they a
What?
fan of one of the teams?
What are you doing? Not a direct fan. But
I'm sorry. If you're a human being with a pulse and you leave
Yeah.
the 7th inning of the World Series, get the fuck out of here. What like, unless you have a dying relative that needs care in the next 10 minutes,
Oh my
what is
God.
going on? That's insane. The amount of people that would pay their left arm for that ticket, disrespectful, awful, hate it. Sorry, fired up early.
I hope
That's
it's
a good
no one
point.
too close to Ian.
Good point. I appreciate that. I think leaving in the 7th inning World Series game is crazy. Or want to beat the traffic? Then don't go to the World Series game if you want to beat the traffic.
And it's the 7th inning. Like there's a pitch clock. It's only going to last like less than an hour. You're
It was
good.
7. Yeah, it
Good
was
point.
a 5-4 game in the 7th. Like it wasn't like a late comeback either. Like it was a 1-score game when they left.
Yeah, I'm off that. Is your friend really rich?
1-run game.
No.
Oh,
But I think they did get tickets through Cole Hamels. So
so the friend is really rich.
so Cole
Yeah.
hooked him up.
Yeah.
So yep. Tough to hear about that. But great game. Corey Seager homer in the 9th to send it to extras, right? And then Garcia walks it off. Can I just say Corey Seager's swing is a thing of beauty, and I love it a lot.
My buddy texted yesterday. He bets on baseball. I do not. He does. And he said Corey Seager to hit a homer was like plus 240, which for you non-gamblers out there, like that's not that good of odds. Like to hit a home run.
Yeah. Yeah, to hit a home run is pretty hard. Especially to have those low of odds. I mean, usually it's like plus 240 to get a hit whenever they show it on TV or something like that. And Corey Seager, is it safe to say that he's still underrated somehow, even though he has that huge like he's not talked about as like a top 2 shortstops in baseball ever. And I don't know his metrics. I don't know like his defensive metrics, but I mean, every play that he has made this postseason has been like he made a play, I think last night against Corbin Carroll on the run, like came and got it with like a glove press. And it was just like, he made it look so easy. And like he's made a few plays to his backhand on the run, like just right at Nate Lowe's chest. Like, again, I just don't think he's talked about enough. And he hit 340 this year with 30 something homers.
I think he's had a little bit of injury issues in his career. I'm looking at it right now. He was an all-star in 16 and 17, only played 26 games, 134, 52 in the COVID year, and then 95 in his free agent year. So, he was a two-time all-star in his first 2 years, and then he's been an all-star the last 2. But I do think he's very much underappreciated. I think that year that he had this year wasn't talked about at all because of how good Shohei's year was. So there was no like MVP competition, but he hit 327 with a 1.2 .013, which is good for a 170 OPS plus, 42 doubles and 33 homers, 96 RBIs. That was only in 119 games. So pretty impressive stuff. His swing's a thing of beauty. He did win a World Series MVP.
I feel like he's also like a really calm guy. Like I feel like he's not one of like the flashier players.
No.
So when he hit that homer to tie it and then you see his like emotions, like that's sick to me. Like the guys that don't usually like Ian, like if you get fired up over homer, I'm like, that's pretty sick because this guy doesn't really get very excited all the time. Like there are guys that hit a homer and they pimp it every single time and it's like, that's another one. But like a quiet guy to do it, like you knew it meant a lot to him. Go ahead.
No. I saw a clip today from Austin Hedges and Chris Rose talking, and they said it was basically the same thing. Like Seager doesn't show emotion, and when he hit his homer in Game 7 of the ALCS off of Javier, he said that obviously going into a Game 7, like you're kind of on edge, like whatever, and he hits that homer, and he said like he hit it and then gets doesn't show any emotion. And like as soon as he gets back to the dugout, he starts going nuts, and everyone was kind of just like, "Yo, like this is like a really cool sign." Like everybody's like just elevated up, like so many levels. I think is what he said. And again, the other night when he hit it, as soon as he made contact, was just like screaming, knowing that he just clipped this guy at
talk about sitting on a pitch too, because he beat him to that fat. Like that ball, that wasn't that bad of a pitch. Like it was up there.
It was a rise ball of 94.
It was in, but like it was top of the zone. And he's like, I know it's coming. I got it. That was sick.
Well, think about it too. He's gone from being one of many stars on that Dodgers. You got Mookie, you had Cody Bellinger, you had Clayton Kershaw. He's the guy now.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's been able to do, you can win a World Series MVP being one of the cogs in the machine. The fact that he's been able to perform this postseason the way he has after, people like the Yankees, people were begging the Yankees to sign him. Left-handed bat, Yankees need a shortstop. Yankees weren't interested. Many teams were not interested. And a lot of people thought that was an overpay of that contract at the time. Contract could not look better right now. And he's been the driving force behind this playoff run in a lot of ways.
I think it's like Ian said too. The only reason I think there weren't like more bids or higher, I don't know how many bids there were, but it was just the injury history. You know what I mean? Like teams are always weary of guys that don't play 150-ish multiple years in a row. But the talent obviously has always been there, and he's a star.
But he is, we've said this before, sneaky big when you play against him. When you're on the field, you're like, oh my God, this guy is huge. He's huge, and he doesn't wear any wristbands or any tape or anything. He's just naked out there.
Zach loves that.
It's funny. I love it, but I would never do it.
I was going to say, you'd always love
I don't have the build,
LeMahieu,
I don't have the build
right?
for it.
LeMahieu doesn't do it, and you love
LeMahieu
that.
didn't do it. I think he wears tape now, but I remember him
wrist
back
tape now.
and when he was with Colorado. Just like, man, the no swag is swag, man. Look.
But you,
I've
seen you, Zach,
like
come into games.
Little leaguer.
I've seen you come into games where like you don't start the game, obviously, and it's not in the big leagues, but like in the minors, and with nothing on, I'm like, who is that?
Bro,
like,
that's why I wear.
I don't even recognize.
I don't even wear anything. I tape my wrist. That's it. Whenever I play,
but I'm so used to seeing it.
Yeah, but like even that, it feels so naked. And now, if I'm not starting in the big leagues, or even in AAA, whatever, like I'll just wear a long sleeve, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just throw on a long sleeve.
In spring training, I always take my live at bats with like nothing on, and I feel so naked.
Weird. Even like doing stretch, like if I'm just wearing a t-shirt, I'm just like, what the fuck?
What's going on? Okay, let's move on. Awesome walk-off. That was great. Game 2. Izzy kind of they're hanging around. Texas hanging around, and then Arizona goes 2-3-2 in the 7th, 8th, 9th, and before you know it, it's 9-1. It's a pretty unbelievable game.
Dude, so I said, Dakota, I think I said in our group, I thought after game 1, I said that home run is like a series altering, like just completely deflating swing that Seager had. I'm like, bro, you have your closer on there in the 9th, blows his first save of the postseason. You're almost like stealing a game in Texas, and then just to get the door completely slammed on you, and then to come back the next day and win in that fashion is just like, bro, these guys are so like they legitimately do not blink. It's happened I think somebody was saying that they come back in a handful. I know they came back in both games against Milwaukee. And then they've a handful in the CS against the Phillies too. I mean, they just don't waver.
I mean, Merrill Kelly came out there and said, I'm going to drop my nuts on this field. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, a solo shot, and 9 punchies. Like, that's like after that game, the offense probably isn't going to be sparked up early in the game after, like you said, a letdown in game 1. Not a letdown, but, like a tough loss. And then him to come out and just literally shut him down for 7 innings and just give the offense all the time in the world. Nasty.
Yeah, he was really good. And he's been really good all postseason. Zack Gallen's like their guy, but Merrill Kelly was good all year. Was good the last 2 years, and he's been awesome in the postseason. It's really cool to see. He has an awesome story.
He's a vet, yeah.
But
he was on Team USA, right?
He started. I think he started that game. Oh no, Wainwright didn't he?
I would have never guessed. By the way, guess his age. You might know his age now, but
it's like 34.
I wanted Zach to guess because I thought he was going to guess a lot younger.
No, I thought he was
like 35. Like he's 35, but
that's crazy.
But I would have guessed like he's probably like 29. Like he's been around a little while, but I feel like I haven't heard of him for that long.
He went to Korea.
4 years in Korea.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I remember I asked AJ about him when we played him, because I mean, you look at him, he doesn't show much emotion. Looks, he kind of has just like a stone cold, like kind of looks like a dick. And I was like, "What do you got? Like, this guy at all?" And he goes, "Yeah, like, kind of has a crazy story. I think he has that chip on his shoulder, by going to Korea for a few years and then coming back and actually shoving is just like I've been good, and." I think that's kind of, I don't know him at all, but it's like kind of his persona of just like, yeah, like I'm just going to do it.
Did you see him in that game against the Phillies in the NLCS? He got done with the 5th inning. I think he was at like 91 pitches. And like he came in and Rob Thompson was like, you're done. Or not Rob Thompson. Lovello was like, you're done. And he's like, what? Like, kind of like, what are you talking about? I'm done. Like, no, I'm not. Like, I think he was through 5 innings, maybe 1 run. He's like, I'm not done. He's like, yeah, we're going to the pen. He's like, no. Obviously they ended up taking him out, but like you love to see that from starting pitchers. Like I feel like especially position players, like you see that, like starters are like, no, I want the ball.
I haven't heard AJ do it. Like if he's taken Eduardo out before, but because usually he'll take him down to the tunnel so it doesn't get caught on TV when he says like, hey, you're coming out. Do you think like the whole time when they make the decision ultimately like, hey, we're going to take him out, like the bench coach, the pitching coach and the manager are just like, this is going to to be fucking terrible.
Well, imagine like,
hey, you do it.
Definitely some guys where the pitching
like
coach,
with Scherzer.
the bench coach in there, I guess.
Scherzer walks in and they're probably just like, he's doing it, not me. Mike Maddox like, no, like Skip said, not me. I'm good with you, man.
Yeah, I'd run you back out there.
Like, it's not my decision. It's fucking analytics, man. I tell you what. We're gonna go somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a great competitor, but he's part of that crop of dudes that came over around the same time. Him, Mikolas, Nick Martinez, the Padres, like all those dudes went through well overseas and then came back. Pierce Johnson has signed a nice deal.
Yeah.
He was a Cubby. He signed a nice deal after going overseas and pitching. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see. Colin Ray.
Yeah.
It is sick to see guys like go over there. Like you make good money over there, so like it's not terrible to go over there at all. But then like to work their way back, because it's usually guys with big league time, and like to find their way back to the top in the big leagues is pretty sick.
Like if you have a family too, and you're just gonna say like, yeah, I'm gonna go over to Japan or I'm gonna go to Korea, like that's a lot, man. It's a lot.
Because even if you take your family with you, like if you got kids, like you're like, hey, we got to go to school over there. Like,
yeah, bro, it's a different world.
I think it's cool because it used to be seen as like if you went to Korea or you went to Japan, that was the end of your career. You talked about guys with ex-big league time, and now it's been a way for guys. There's a lot of guys. I mean, even Talkman on the Cubs this year. Guy went to Korea, was there last year, came back, and guys have been able to use that as sort of a bridge to be like, all right, I can show what I can do in this league, and then come back and hopefully someone finds value in what my skills are.
It's a way to prove that you can still compete, because those are very high, like Japan, very high level, Korea, very high level. Like it's a way to prove you can still do it while making money at the same time. Like if you're in AAA with a team, like, you still got a shot, but like you're probably not making very much money. compared to what like you're used to as a big leaguer. You go over there, you can still make some money and prove it again to work your way back.
Tommy Pham, 4 for 4 in that game too. And then he had the chance to be the first guy to go 5 for 5 in a World Series game. And he said, hey, I want Jace Peterson to get a World Series at bat. And people were like, I guess people are going a little crazy. Social media. Why would you pull him out 5 for 5? Blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, he tweeted about it. I think that's fucking awesome.
Dude, I didn't even realize it. And then I saw his tweet and I was like, I mean, that's the fucking coolest thing ever. He was like, this guy's going to remember this for the rest of his life. I don't need my 5th at bat.
Like,
and I know Jace Peterson a little bit playing against him. I got to play golf with him this spring because he's in-laws with Dansby. Unbelievable dude. Everybody's ever played with him says great teammate, fucking awesome guy, do whatever for the team. But he's a great dude, and of course, like he wants that dude to make sure he gets in at bat. Like,
yeah,
of course.
I feel like if fans are mad about that, I'd be like, I mean, realistically, at the end of the day, like it'd be cool if Pham went 5 for 5, but it's like he'd rather win a World Series and he'd rather one of his teammates have the chance to play in the World Series because Peterson might not play the rest of the World Series. You know what I mean? Like he can forever say like, I had an at bat in the World Series, win or lose.
Yeah.
Plus, how often at the end of these games do we see after you make all your moves and all of a sudden someone like Jace Peterson comes up in a huge at bat? And it's one at bat, so you don't want to sell it too much, but every at bat I'm sure helps at this time of the season, especially when you're a guy that isn't playing a lot, getting another AB and they're getting a rep when it comes down to, the situations at the end of the game, like Austin Hedges on the other side. He was on deck when that huge home run happened. And I'm sure he was glad he didn't have to bat because he's had one at bat since like September 15th. I mean, that's a really difficult spot to be in.
I saw a tweet like that, Tom. Someone, it might have been a John Boy account. I forget what account it was, but they tweeted that and it was just Hedges as he hit the homer. And they go, this is the happiest guy in the whole place because he doesn't have to go hit. Like he was like going nuts and he's like, he's just happy he doesn't have to go up there.
Game 3 brought to you by HelloFresh. Tom, do you love HelloFresh?
Yeah. Do you want me to do it? What do you?
No, I want you to say something nice about HelloFresh.
Honestly, I haven't got a chance to use it myself, but I've only heard great things about it. And I'm hoping, maybe they'll hear this ad and hook me up with it. I would love some HelloFresh in my life.
Well, I don't know why you don't have some in your fridge right now. We got a discount code for you. HelloFresh.com/50 compound. That's 50 compound. With so many in-season ingredients, you'll taste all the freshness of fall with every bite of HelloFresh's chef-crafted recipes. Dakota, I know you like the taste of fall.
I love it. It's my favorite.
It is. It is your favorite. HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% less expensive than takeout. It means less stress in your day and more money back in your pocket. They have easy options, including 15-minute meals. They really got it all. HelloFresh.com/50 compound and use code 50 compound 50 compound for 50% off plus free shipping. Game 3 brought to you by HelloFresh 50 compound. Game 3 was all Texas. It was 3-0. There was a moment there where Christian Walker hit a double. He's on second base. Pham hits a backside single, very pretty swing off Scherzer. And he runs through a stop sign, but it was not really a run through a stop sign. It was really like
his head was
running
down.
with his head up, saw the wave, put his head down, and then the third base coach tried to hold him when his head was down. So it wasn't really a full run through the stop sign, but he gets thrown out at home. They don't score. It's kind of their only opportunity of the game.
As base runners, like I don't know that well, but I feel like that's just like that's too late. Like you can't change your mind that late as the third base coach.
So
he was giving it to him as he's like touching third, like kind of rounding third. He switches it to a stop, and it's like, well, he's already head down full speed.
So a lot of guys, it's like an art. They start really far down,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll really, really far down, and then they'll creep as it's coming so they can give it like the last possible second. And to me, it looked like he was kind of stagnant. I don't know. I mean, if that was they've done all year.
Call him out, Zach.
I'm not calling him out. I'm not going to do that. It's a really hard job. That is one of the most underrated jobs in baseball is a third
That's
base
very
coach.
true.
Oh yeah.
It is not even close. No, so like, I mean, if as a base runner, if you have to almost check like one more time to like really make sure. And I don't know if it's in your peripherals, but it looked like Walker was just kind of had his head down. He figured he was going to score the whole time. I mean, again, you have to make like so many things have to go right to throw somebody out from that far.
Made a perfect throw.
Huh?
Made a perfect throw.
Perfect throw, perfect hop, perfect tag. Like, again, you tip your hat, but at the same time, it sucks if that's your only opportunity you're going to have to strike. And like, it's just so hard to be critical of Walker because of all of the things that have to go right.
Yep. And in that moment, you're just putting your head down and hauling ass trying to get there. The one, for all the kids out there, best thing you can do is keep your head up, look down at the bag when you touch it, try to pick your head back up and get the third base coach one last time.
Can I tell you a quick story about me coaching third one time?
It was pretty late. 1 second. It was pretty late. And the only other thing about that is that Garcia sailed the throw. So they would have probably had second and third.
Like he didn't hit the cut, you're saying?
No.
And, thanks to our incredible, super informative in-game interviews with the players and manager, Torey Lovello was saying that as soon as it happened, like Walker came up to him and said, "Hey, it's my bad." Like, accountability was huge. It's kind of what they're built on. And he was just like, "Listen, like, I'm not going to knock this guy. Like,
give him his best effort out there.
Yeah,
trying really hard." Dakota, tell me about coaching third, man.
So Michigan State has a green-white series in the fall every year for the baseball team. Me and my buddy were the coach of one of the teams one year. This was like 5-6 years ago now. And my buddy was the third baseman, so he was the third base coach. I just stayed in the dugout, but we were cold on offense. So I went out and coached third the last couple innings. We make a comeback. 9th inning, down 1, guy on first. Ball hitting like left center gap, but not really like all the way to the fence. Center fielder gets it. Guys around like coming towards third. And I'm kind of like, I don't know. And I go, yeah. I send him out by 5 steps. Like catcher holding the ball, waiting to tag him. End of the game, we lose the World Series. And I'm like, oh my God.
Imagine, you got caught up in the moment. You got all excited.
I didn't know what to do, man. I was like, I can't leave him here. We got 2 outs. Like, we got to give it a shot.
Dude,
Analytics said gotta go.
That shit's crazy because like that has to go through your mind as a third base coach as the game is going on. Like you can't get caught up in the moment and be like, fuck it. I was excited. I thought he was going to score. Like, no, man, we have our best hitter on deck here. You can't do that. This guy hasn't thrown a strike all night. Like, so much shit has to go. It's like you're a player. Like, you're standing in the field or you're standing on base. Like, you have to go through every situation in your head before it happens. And you're taught that in Little League as a player. Like, nobody's telling you that as a coach.
No, and the craziest part about coaching third is it all happens so fast. And then everybody has the hindsight to go like, why would you do that? What a stupid thing you just did. Didn't you know that this, and all this was happening? Because me sitting here in the third row, I saw it all.
And it's not like you can prepare that much for it because, like, okay, guy on second, hard hit, single to right. You're not sending him, but then he bobbles it. And it's like, oh, now I want to send him. Oh, no, I can't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's too many scenarios that you can't plan for all of them.
Yeah.
Before it happens.
And you're trying to run in your head, arm strength of the 3 guys, speed of the ball off the bat, speed of the runner, where you are in the lineup, who's up next, if they're hot, if they're not hot, how the matchup is with the pitcher. You could have your 4-hitter up, but this guy throws high heaters and your 4-hitter doesn't really handle high heaters. Like you have all of those things to put into account to make a split-second decision. That for the most part, it's not a 5-step thing. For the most part, it's he's safe by an inch or he's out by an inch, like when those plays happen. So it's a really hard job, and guys are good at it. Like we have Willie Harris is really good at it, and he made 4 or 5 bad sends all year. And like every one, he gets crushed by media or whoever, and it's just like Nobody talks about the ones where he sent somebody right in some dude's face and he made a bad throw and scored. Nobody says that was an unbelievable send by Willie Harris. That never has once been said.
It's pretty pro sometimes, I think. Like, if a third base coach sends somebody and it's a close play and they're safe, like I think it's pretty pro. Like I'll always kind of sixth send.
Sixth send.
Like,
You gotta pump them up. You gotta fluff them.
because like again, you get no recognition whatsoever if you're doing well. You just get crushed.
That's the reason I thought the Walker send last night was pretty defensible. Like, I mean, I know eventually he put up the stop sign the last second, but as you guys said, people were acting like he was thrown out by like 10 feet there. That was a bang play that took an unbelievable throw to make that even a possibility of getting the out.
Bro, yeah.
10 times out of 10 there, that guy's scoring. It happened to be, unfortunately for the Diamondbacks last night, the 1 out of 10 times they didn't score in that play.
And
but
it looked
like that was a pretty good send.
And it looked worse because he slid kind of around and tried to hook his hand instead of just sliding straight. If he slides straight in, it's like really bang.
Yeah.
But third base coach, really, really tough. And Zack, is there anything better as a hitter than when you hit a shallow fly ball with a guy third and the third base coach sends him and you're going, I don't know if he's going to do it. I don't know. And then he sends him and he's safe and you get a sac fly. Is there anything better?
You hit it. You're immediately like, oh, thank God it's in the air. And then you're like, God, that's not deep enough. And then you're playing like, you're looking at him. You're like, come on, send him. And then usually there's been times where they'll fake break and it gives you literally 0.5 seconds of hope. You're like,
no.
Like, why would you not go?
Oh, but when they do it, when the third base coach does an aggressive send and they're safe, you just want to jump in his arms. You just want to carry him off the field.
But it's such a bad look if you're like, yeah, fuck yeah, nice send.
Oh man, yeah. I don't ever show emotion.
It's also dope when you're on third in the split second of like, okay, you don't hear anything in your ear, and then like towards the end, he's like, yeah, you're going. You're just like,
yeah. He gets close and goes, yes. You're just like, oh,
and then you're like, you can do it. Don't leave early.
Also in game 3, Scherzer wears a line drive off I believe it was the elbow, right? On the broadcast, they were saying back, but it was elbow.
No, I don't know. Are we crediting that with a line drive?
It's not what it sounds like. Bochy said today that his back's like locked up.
Well, his back did lock up.
No, he got hit in the elbow with that.
Got hit in the elbow.
Yeah, but I'm saying
hopper, whatever.
I don't think that's why he's out. Like I think he's out because of his back.
Hey, let the narrator speak.
I'm sorry.
Let me get through it, man.
I'm sorry. I thought you were saying that's why he was out. I was like, I don't think so.
Scherzer gets hit in the elbow. Okay. Great
Correct.
play by Jung over there to get the out. Because that was what got him out of that inning, I think. That they gave up threw the guy at home. But then he comes out, back locked up, back spasms. He only makes it through 3.
Yes.
And then
3.
John Gray comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the
He
pen.
was supposed to start game 4.
He was supposed to start game 4. He comes in out of the pen. Nasty. 3 innings, no earned. Pretty impressive stuff.
I'm curious. He had to be in the dugout. And like, were they like, hey man, go put your cleats on? Like, there's no way he's sitting in the dugout, cleated up, jerseyed up. If he's starting game 4.
That's
like,
a great
it was
question.
confirmed he's starting game. It wasn't like, they're leaning John Gray. Like, if they don't use him tonight, it's like, no, like he's the game 4 starter.
That's a good question. I bet they had him in the pen because Scherzer's had the spasms and he's only pitched 2 games, right? So I bet they had him in the pen. Like, hey man, if we need to piggyback tonight, like, or like if Scherzer can only go 2, if he locks up, like it's going to be you. I'm sure. I would love to know. Maybe I don't have any good sources to text, but I would love to know where he was because there's no way he was not cleated. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't think so, but that's what I mean. Like, he was like the confirmed game 4 starter, and then just to not even. So I don't know. He might have been in the pen. I didn't see it that much, so I don't know if he was even out there. I mean, it wouldn't matter because you can warm up on the game mound anyway. But
absolutely huge though to give them that length, get them to the backhand guys.
3 shutty, yeah,
and they shut it down. Tough at the end of the game there. Adolis Garcia flies out, pulls an oblique. So that he's done, right?
I was like, obliques are like nasty ones.
You're not
for
coming back
hitters
from that. I mean, you're done.
And you know what's crazy is they have to make a move.
That's
Like-
what Bochy said today. He said they don't know yet for sure what they're doing with either one, if they're taking them off yet or not. But they said they'll probably know before the game today.
You have 90 minutes before the game to make a decision. And I think we're approaching that pretty soon, no?
The only thing with back spasm, like the Scherzer one, like with back spasms, it's like that could loosen up. And if you could have them for game 7, like you'd want them for game 7 if it goes to 7 games. You know what I mean?
But you're also down. You're down a guy tonight then.
But you're also using in the playoffs, like how often do you even use like 3 guys in the bullpen have probably thrown once all postseason? You know what I mean? Like I feel like
but it's another
guys.
it's a bullpen game again tonight too.
But like
So someone's gonna get burned.
I think it's a lot more likely that Scherzer stays on the roster and they try to figure it out, and Adolis Garcia is off the roster because
Yeah.
I don't see a way, unless the oblique's like barely touched, like that's a 2-week thing minimum.
pitching wise, yes, I think you can afford to leave Scherzer on there, and if he doesn't come back, so be it. Like no offense to whoever they'd add, but like what are the chances the guy they add they even use? You know what I mean? But like hitting wise, like if you can get another bat at least on the bench, whoever it may be, like you gotta have that extra bat.
It'll be Ezekiel Duran, who when we
He was
played
good.
them was the best hitter in their lineup at that time. I'm not kidding. Let me see what he did this year. Again, so this guy is not
Big Yankee prospect. They acquired in the Gallo trade. He's good.
so he's not even on the roster. And this
I'm
year
happy
he
about
hit
that.
276 with 46 RBI.
Well, it's also got to
100.
be a guy, you know, I know the Cubs did it. It's got to be a guy that they had like in what are they range? Arizona, like staying ready. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to
Oh
be.
yeah. Well, he was
He
there. He
he
was always
definitely was.
yeah.
Was it okay? Or
Yeah.
there's probably guys on the like in
There
the
is.
dugout.
There
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
He had a 106 OPS plus 14 homers, and he's not in only 400 at bats, and he's not on the roster.
he hasn't even debuted yet.
No,
No,
he did.
I'm
played.
saying he's not on their
Oh, postseason roster. I thought you
Yes,
meant on the
sorry.
40 man. I was
No,
like,
no,
I don't
no.
know. I don't know if they're going to have a guy debut in the World Series. That'd be kind of sick though.
that would be sick.
Tonight, it's interesting matchup tonight pitching wise because you have Heaney. Tonight, let's tell the people this is Tuesday night. It's Tuesday. The game
Halloween.
hasn't started yet. So game 4, Arizona is starting Mantiply and going with a bullpen night. Texas is starting Heaney. And he'll probably go, depending on how he's pitching, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I feel like he's like fought for the Diamondbacks. Like if he's cruising, he can go 5. If he's not, and he gives you 3, and he's like working through tough innings, but gives you 3 innings, like 1 run, no runs, you're pumped. You're like, all right,
Yeah.
let's go to the pen.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how Lovello manages the game for AZ. They did this against us a couple times late in the season. One time at our place, the last game of a 4-game set. They did this. They had Mantiply start. Faced 4 hitters, 5 hitters, something like that, and then they flipped it and somebody came in and threw a couple. But they have the bullpen length to do it. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes for them and then how it impacts the rest of the series.
They did this also in the Phillies series as well. Same thing with Mantiply starting. I believe that was game 4, game 5 in Arizona. 4 must have been.
Who came in
And,
after that?
it was, I think, Miguel Castro, I believe, was the first guy up out of the pen. They had somebody warming in the first inning, which tells you the strategy of that kind of game plan is when every arm's available tonight for the Diamondbacks, pretty much.
It's also interesting without Garcia because Garcia was hitting the 4-hole, right?
Yeah.
He was hitting 3 and 4.
And Evan Carter is a lefty only, and he was hitting the 3-hole.
Yeah.
He was hitting 3 and 4.
So you're talking right. So you're talking right, left, left. So Mantiply gets to right, left, left, and then at that point you're probably taking him out. And there's righty going to face Garcia if there's a guy on, or if he gets through that inning clean. Now, what?
Nothing. I'm
What?
an idiot.
You wanna
I'm an
interrupt?
idiot.
What do you
Nope,
need?
I got
What do you
nothing.
need? Do you have something for the people? All right, I'll
Nope.
keep going.
Go ahead.
Without Garcia, it's interesting. Who's going to hit? Is that Garver? Is that
I have
who's
the
gonna
Rangers
hit?
lineup if you want
Please
it.
tell me.
It's Simeon, Seager, Mitch Garver, Evan Carter, Josh Young, Nathaniel Lowe, Heim, Tavares, Travis Jankowski, and Heaney on the mound.
So they're going pretty right, left. They have a couple lefties stacked there at the bottom, but pretty right, left. So it'll be interesting to see when they pull the trigger away from Anaply to go to somebody else.
It also just we're recording this Tuesday 6:45 right now. It looks like Ezekiel Duran will probably end up on the roster. He's been in the batting cage. He's been hitting, and obviously Adolis Garcia not in the lineup tonight. So we'll see if that move becomes official by the time this pod gets released. But right now, Duran looks like he's going to go out to the roster.
That fucking sucks for Garcia.
Sucks.
Like
And what a
that
postseason.
is fucking terrible.
Sucks for him, but it's most RBIs in a single postseason in history, right? In far less games. And you're talking about a dude who's been huge for that lineup as far as big clutch hits, walks off game one, big homers in the CS, and now he's out of the lineup. So a lot of weight to carry for the other boys there. They got a deep lineup, but the other boys got to pick them up.
Yeah, I mean,
Tom nodded his head. He agreed.
well, I feel like now it's time for like another hero. You know what I mean? Like,
Telling you, Ezekiel Duran, how cool would that be?
well, I mean more like Lowe, Young, Jonah Heim, ex-Michigan State commit. People forget that. Wanted to be a Spartan, but he wanted to be a Spartan. People forget. Clearly not that bad, but yeah.
Did he spend a day on campus?
Hey, Tom, he was committed in the same class as me. We would have won it all. It was our missing piece. So
That's what he said his biggest regret was not playing with you in Sparty.
heard that.
I'd say it worked
heard
out
that.
for him. We would have had a lot of fun. I'm sure we would have had some good times. But career-wise, I think he's doing okay. I think he's gonna be all right.
And Lowe's hitting in the 7-hole for them. He's a force.
6
He's
hole.
an absolute force.
6 hole.
That guy can hit hot and hit a bunch of homers, driving a bunch of runs. I'm excited to see how this game goes. I think the D-backs need it. I think the D-backs need to even this one up. I'd love to see it.
But the postseason's been so weird. I want to say like, oh, they got to win both, like the next two at home. But it's like postseason's been so weird. Like they could lose one and win one, and then go win both in Texas. Like it's already happened by both of these teams in the past. So like, it's crazy.
You know what I think some of these guys might need?
ERC.
No.
Bruce Bolt.
They don't need that. They need Bruce Bolts. They need to put on some Bruce Bolt batting gloves before this game, and they need to get fired up and swing the sticks. Bruce Bolt, best batting gloves in the game, highest quality leather. They last forever. They are my favorite gloves that I use on the field. I got a pair of all baby blues and a pair of blue and whites. Go to brucebolt.us. It's brucebolt.us to check them out. I did see during the series some Bruce Bolt arm sleeves floating around on some of the boys. It's cool to see the lightning bolt out there, the biggest stage. Do you want to talk about the Houston Dynasty, or do you want to talk about the Fan Solaire Atlanta?
Let's start with the Houston Dynasty.
Okay, start with Houston Dynasty. Tom posed this question to us. This is a question that Tom posed to us pre-show. Go ahead, lay it out there for him.
Yeah, Justin Shackle, co-host of Toe on the Slab here on John Boy Media. He tweeted that this was after, obviously, the Astros got eliminated, that he didn't think the Astros were a dynasty. There was some pushback to that. He also tweeted, we can get into this as well, he didn't think the Giants run, where they won 3 in 5 years, was a dynasty either. So a lot of hot takes out there on the internet about what is and what is not a dynasty.
Wait.
Those two are not comparable. Those two are not comparable.
Just before he was saying the Giants that won 3
of 5.
Because in 2 years that they didn't win the world. Let me be clear before I say this argument. I disagree with this argument vehemently. I really like Justin. He's a great guy, but this is a wild argument from him. But basically he's saying because the 2 years that they did not win the World Series, they missed the playoffs both years. I think one of the years they won 70 games. So, something in the 70s. That makes them not a dynasty. I don't agree with that take.
Is he a Yankee fan?
He works for the Yankees. He's one of the on-field hosts and does some fill-in play-by-play for the Yankees.
Okay, so he's a Yankees guy, so only the Yankees have ever been a dynasty, is what he's That's his opinion. It's okay. It's okay.
I don't want to put words into his mouth. I don't think
No, it's
he's
fine.
exactly that, but
No, it's fine. Do we want his opinion? You can tell us his opinion on Houston after. Dakota,
No,
would you like
he
to
already
start?
said Houston's not a dynasty, right?
He said Houston is not a dynasty.
yeah, he said neither the Giants or
Okay.
Houston.
Yep. Only the Yankees. You're right. Okay. Go ahead, Dakota. What do you think?
I think it's crazy to say the Giants aren't a dynasty. I don't care what they did the 2 years they didn't win it all. They could have lost in the NLCS. They could have lost in the World Series. You win 3 out of 5 for me. That's a pretty safe, like, you were a dynasty, like you were a powerhouse.
Yeah.
3 out of 5. That is so hard to do in baseball. So hard. Baseball's so weird to win 3 out of 5. That's crazy. But the Astros, Tom, what were the years again they won the World Series?
17 and 22. They made 7 straight American League Championship Series.
That I can't believe there was pushback on that being a dynasty, though, because you win 2 in a span of 5 years, 6 years, 5 years, whatever. Like, you go to the ALCS, but that doesn't mean anything to me. Like, that's like what does third place get you? Nothing. Like, you either win it all or nothing.
I think what I would have said is it's not a dynasty, but it is a dominant run of what they've been on.
For sure. I agree with that 100%.
And I think it's 2 things. I think it's, like I said, it's showing how good their player development and whatever is. And then it's also showing how hard it is to win. They've been there 7 times, or they've been to the CS 7 times. And, like, I'm not saying to only win 2, but to win 2 out of being pretty fucking close for 7 straight years is really hard to do.
And people forget they really only have 1 World Series.
Oh, God.
I mean, people forget how quickly we forget. You know, one of them, I got a big old asterisk next to it. Reggie Bush doesn't have a Heisman. They don't have that World Series.
I mean, what do you define as a dynasty in baseball? I mean, winning the whole thing is really hard.
The Yankees in the 90s.
They did it twice in a 7-year span. They went to the ALCS in 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. So they're basically at the end of the road for all of those.
And 23.
You're trying to play devil's advocate here. There's no way you're serious. That
how many World Series were they in? 3 or 4?
Yeah, because they
lost to
so.
No, that was
Ian. Continue your take. I want to hear if you think that
All right.
counts as dynasty.
They have won the division, the AL West, every full season. So not 20, but they won the AL West in 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, and 23. I mean, what else do you need to say that that's a dynasty in baseball context in this time? Like, nobody's won back-to-back World Series. The best run that we've seen is the apparently not a dynasty Giants that have won 3 in 5 years. That's the best run we've seen in the last 20 years. Teams like the Yankees that are in it every year have won 1. Like the Cubs with their great run that they made for 15, 16, 17.
Not a dynasty either. 18,
not a dynasty, but they only won 1. The Dodgers have only won 1. These guys won 2, and they went to 7 straight ALCS. It's like, I don't know what else you need.
I feel like you can't throw around the term dynasty, though.
That's throwing it around.
Because I feel like the Patriots were a dynasty, early 2000s. Sorry, Zach. That was a dynasty. Like the Yankees in the 90s were a dynasty. Like, dynasty is something that, like, there doesn't need to be a dynasty happening for 10 years. Even. Like, it could go 10 years in a sport of no, like, dynasty. You know what I mean? Like, the Chiefs have a chance to be a dynasty in the NFL if they win.
Warriors.
A couple more. The Warriors could be a dynasty. But it's like, to me, a dynasty is something like, I don't even know. I can't put it into words. It's more something like I need more championships out of the Astros.
Yeah.
Like, I don't count
I think the championship
ALCS appearances as very much.
Like,
that just doesn't mean very much to me. Like, I get how hard it is to make it to the ALCS, but to not win it, like, that doesn't mean anything for me towards a dynasty conversation.
I was going to say, I hate the argument for players like, oh, he doesn't have rings or like this, that, because it's such a team thing. But when you're talking dynasties and like longevity of teams, I think that has to be pretty high to the topic of discussion.
For sure. Like,
And that's like the Patriots is a perfect example. They did it for 15 years? Like every year. I mean, they won and they were in it for that long.
I think you hit on the term, Zach. It's dominance, not dynastic. They were very, very dominant over that stretch. I mean, that's 7. I would give them credit for, you talk about 7 straight ALCS appearances is unbelievable. I mean, that's something that most fan bases could only dream of. You think about David Cohn in conversation with Justin Shackle on Towing the Slab, brought up the Braves from the 90s where they won what was like 15 straight NL East division titles, but they only won 1 World Series out of that. I think it's the Astros are in a similar boat. Obviously, they have 2 World Series compared to the 1, but that run was dominant from the Braves. But I don't think anyone would call it a dynasty. In fact, there was another dynasty going on during that time.
which one? Which one, Tom? Which one?
You guys might have heard of it, the New York Yankees.
Yeah, Tom.
I saw somebody tweet this the other day. It is tough that I was less than a year old when that dynasty run started. And I don't know if we'll ever see anything like that from any one of my teams ever again in my lifetime. And I was really not conscious for it at all, which is a real bummer. It's one of the greatest runs of all time. And I think every year that we move from beyond it and we see how unpredictable baseball is, it's kind of hard to believe that it happened at all, because it's just the playoffs when you get to it are so unpredictable. It's so hard to imagine a team winning back to back, much less 3 and 4 years.
And that's what I will say, Ian, to your point, how Tom said it is so unpredictable. Like, to get to 7 ALCSs with how hard baseball is, like, yes, that is crazy impressive. But I need more World Series championships.
Need more parades.
To be a dynasty.
Okay, so if they had been to 7 ALCSs and won 3, are they a dynasty?
Well, 3 real ones, or are we still counting the other one?
3 real ones.
Okay, 3 real ones, then yeah, I'll count it because that'd be 3.5.
Are you holding 17 against them? Is that why you're not doing it? You're holding
doesn't
all
count.
the stuff against them?
Holding what against them? Cheating?
If you are, that's okay.
Would I hold cheating against them? Yes, I do. Does the Hall of Fame hold steroids against Barry Bonds? You tell me.
I think their run's a little tainted by everything that happened, and that's why people aren't considering them a dynasty. But I think if that was another team that nothing came out about, I think that
what about
the public would have a different opinion.
Is Altuve, does he get screwed by all this? Like, does he go to the Hall of Fame?
I think he still does. Yeah.
I still think he goes. But if they didn't give all the players immunity to get all the inside info, and like it was coming out that like he was did it, like confirmed he did it. He did it all the time. That's worse than steroids to me. Like that's
what I said too. I said, I mean, that
was crazy when that came out.
Bro,
we don't need to rehash all that, but that's what I will say is, like, if it was proven, like I said, if they didn't have immunity for all the players, then I think that would taint him bad enough to knock it in. But since they don't have like, oh, this guy used it, this guy didn't, this guy did, then I think he'll be okay.
He has 8 All-Star games, an MVP, Gold Glove.
And he has
I don't question the accolades.
Postseason homers.
Yeah, I don't question the accolades at all.
No, that's like I don't either.
It's
that's
the same thing as Barry Bonds. Like, you pull up his stats, like, okay,
well, that's what
still cheating.
That's what made me ask the question, was when you said Barry Bonds.
No, it was a good question.
Thanks, man.
Nice job, man. Proud of you.
Thanks, I appreciate that. It means a lot coming from you.
Did you get a fresh cut recently? You're looking good, man.
Thanks, man. You too.
Thanks,
I think last week. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
What is going on right now?
I don't know. I just
Tom, it's just conversation, man. Welcome to the compound, episode 182, man. That's where we
This is
scoop each other up.
That's got out of control.
The fluff. Come on.
It's just a fluff.
Hey, Tom, you know who could use the fluff right now?
Who's that?
The New York Football Giants.
Please don't make me talk about the Giants.
ERC. Employee retention credit is a government tax incentive that helps small businesses get back up to $26,000 per employee for overpayment of payroll taxes. If you were a business with 5 to 500 W-2 employees who continue to pay taxes and employ staff during the pandemic, you could be eligible. Okay, Omega Accounting Solutions, they're the _1 best ERC company for getting your ERC funds now. Call 800-643-CUBS or visit smallbizcashback.com/Cubs for a free consultation. Do you want to talk about football? Zach, you want to talk about the?
I honestly, I don't want to talk about it either because that was the worst game I've ever witnessed in my life. But
the announcer said it. They said it was the worst, best game you'll ever see.
Ever, dude. I'm sitting there the whole time and like they go up.
Zach gave up. To confirm, Zach gave up on his team. He said this will be the worst loss they ever have.
And you know what's funny is like people like Tom, right? It's on social media like, this is the worst loss I've ever seen, or like this is the worst game I've ever seen. And I saw a tweet. It's like, as a Jets fan, you're sitting there, you're like, no, I've seen worse. Like I've seen plenty worse.
The Lions have too. You know that?
Yeah, like it's. I mean, what? Tom, did you watch the game?
Yeah.
So I didn't know you were a big Giants guy until I saw your tweet.
Hasn't been a lot to talk about the last few years on the Giants front.
Right. But I mean, listen, I think football's hard enough, but playing in a torrential downpour has to be hard. And then when you're playing with, I mean, the Jets were on their fourth string center who hasn't played a snap of center in years. And the Giants were on their QB3 who they were not allowed to throw the football. Like that's just a tough recipe.
I mean, they were close to breaking the NFL record for punts, and like they were at like 25 punts in that game.
Don't worry though, because Monday Night Football next week the Jets are on, so you guys can all watch.
But did you see that Joe Douglas said Aaron Rodgers is coming back this season? The Jets have like basically
no, Tom. See, the media, man.
Zach's not buying in yet. He wants
no. I'm not saying. He said no.
This.
See, Tom, you have to read the whole thing. And he goes, "Hey, I'm not a doctor. I meant what I said was he's going to be back with the team soon."
Mm-hmm.
That's what people.
They're in the running. If they're in the running, week 16, he's playing.
Playing like week 12. The guy's crazy.
I don't know about another
what
month.
That man is doing right now.
In 2 months, though, I think he'll be able to play with what he's doing right now.
See, I just think this is a case of Booby Miles right here. I mean, he's going to try to move. Like, dude, he has to be able to play the highest level of football. Like, he has to be able to protect himself.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're talking about this right now is still
Ian's so upset. Oh, I thought you meant football in general. I was like, Ian's upset.
Nope. I love football.
Big trade today for the Bears.
Yep, big trade.
Who'd they get, Ian?
For the Bears.
Who'd they get?
They got some players. Big deal.
They got Montez Sweat.
I did see a little bit of outrage on the old social media about the Bears.
I mean,
the Bears trade.
They stink.
They their corner requested a trade.
Yep. They did not trade him though.
Didn't trade him, but they got Montez Sweat. Big deal.
He's a good player for a second round pick.
Good player. They're just building for next year. Building for next year. A lot of money to spend. Big deal. My fantasy team's struggling. It's really tough. Really tough.
Really tough when you don't watch and you don't follow it. And,
the Detroit kicker put up it's a heck of a lot of points.
Yeah, he did. I get
really hurt my feelings. Really hurt my feelings. We're grinding out there. Boys are down bad. We're down bad. It's all right. It's all right. All right.
It's early.
Yeah, we've got plenty of time. Tom's laughing. He's having a good time. Do you want to talk about the Soler stuff?
Yeah, we can. I mean, it wasn't like a big thing. I just saw it. Talking Baseball post it. They just said they posted something that said, breaking news, the Braves and former outfielder Jorge Soler have been hit with a lawsuit dating back to his time with the Atlanta club. The plaintiff is suing for damages related to facial injuries sustained from a ball Soler threw into the stands. Ian, as an outfielder that would throw a ball into the stands, thoughts? And I will say Evan Longoria commented underneath it and said, and there's the last time we see any player throw a ball into the stands.
I mean, there's always times when you throw balls in the stands and somebody's not looking and you pelt somebody and you go, oh God. Or, you see guys throw balls sometimes a little hard. Like there's no context here. We don't know if he was pissed and threw a rocket.
Yeah.
Clocked someone in the face. We don't know if it was he just chucked it up towards the third deck and somebody got smoked. You don't know if it was like, I got it. Like you just have no reference for what was happening. So hard to comment on this exactly, but I will say as someone who throws balls in the stands, you always try to find people that are looking. You always try to find people with their hands in the air. Sometimes they're just like, that's not happening. Sometimes you're just running off the field and trying to get in the dugout for an AB, or you're up third, and you just turn and launch it into the stands, and somebody could not be looking, or somebody turns their head at the last second and gets hit. Like, that's flying objects. And with the netting now, like, the netting's a great thing. I'm not saying anything negative about the netting. Netting's great. People aren't getting smoked with the line drives, but like, you got to get it up over the netting to get it to the people. You used to be able to just underhand toss it to a kid in the first row. Now you gotta chuck it.
It's tough when a kid asks for a ball, but like, you see their parent, like, you could see that they're not going to be able to catch the ball, and you try to throw it to their parent and you see it tracking, and you're just like, oh no. You try to place it in their glove from 97 feet away, and you're just like,
yeah. It's a little kid and their arms are extended completely with no glove. They're like, throw me the ball. And you're like, this isn't going to work.
And it's unfortunate that it happened to whoever it was. But like, Zach, you were saying it pre-show, like, there's like, you're at a baseball game. Like, if they throw a ball up in the like, there's no way he just crow hopped rocket threw it at someone's face. Like you said, it's like, probably last out of the inning, I'm going to flick it into the stands. Here's a ball for somebody. They weren't looking at hit him in the face. Like, it's just unfortunate is all it is. Like, I don't know. I can't imagine that he gets sued and actually has to pay money for this.
Getting
I'd be shocked.
Getting a ball as a fan. I used to, when I sat, we had season tickets, my family, for the Hudson Valley Renegades, single A for the Rays back in the day. And we were right behind the visitors dugout. And by the time I aged out and, we moved on and we didn't have season tickets anymore, I had a bag just full of baseballs. There was nothing cooler, though, than being 9-10 years old and getting a baseball. So I really hope they keep that part of the game involved, because it's really unique to baseball. There's no other sport where you can, you get the ball in basketball. They're not like, oh, keep that.
Yeah.
Go back. It's really cool that you get to keep a souvenir like that. And I hope they keep that going. And I hope things like this don't take away from players feeling comfortable interacting with fans and giving them balls and doing things like that, because I've seen it firsthand. I've been that kid firsthand, that giving a kid a ball can make their day and make them fall in love with the sport. And we've seen the ratings for the World Series. We need all the national fans we can get. We need more people who love this sport. And that's one of the ways they can do it.
And you said it, Tom, like, you see those clips all the time. Like, Mike Trout gives a kid a ball and he starts crying and like hugs his parent. It's like, it means the world to some kids. Like, oh my gosh, I just got a ball from Mike Trout. Like,
so much better.
They'll remember it forever.
Yeah, it's so much better when you give it to a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, tell him, Zach.
So much better when you give it to a kid.
Yep. I think that's all we got.
They did. Zach messaged it, but they did remove Adalis and Scherzer actually for Ezekiel Duran and Brock Burke, left-handed pitcher.
Wow, lefty.
Wow.
I was surprised by the Scherzer one.
Wow, me too.
I just don't think you can play a man down, bro. Like,
no, and obviously they probably got imaging done and whatever, all these tests done. Like, hey man, you're not going to be ready in 5 days to pitch in a baseball game. Like, they know. It's not like they're like, like, we don't know, maybe. Yeah. It's like, well, if there's a chance, like, you probably keep Max Scherzer on the roster. It's probably like, hey, there's no way you're throwing in 4 or 5 days.
Real quick before we get to Sloan screen time, there is nothing worse than when something like that happens and then you're up at 6 a.m. to go in the MRI tube to get looked at, and then an X-ray, then maybe another MRI, and like from 6 a.m. until noon, you're just like in a tube, and then you're waiting like 2 hours to get everything back and get it figured out. And there's nothing. I
had one early in the morning and I was like asleep in the MRI thing, and like I would just keep twitching because you're not really asleep, and they're just like, you have to stop moving. And I'm like, dude, I can't help it. Like, I can't help it.
I have fallen asleep in every MRI I've ever had to.
Oh,
those things are so loud. How do you fall asleep?
It's like a fan. I don't know. Oh yeah, right here. I fall asleep and I'll wake up to them saying like, all right, you're done. And I'm like,
yeah.
And my arm is fully like asleep as well. Can't move it. I'm like, oh God.
I
need another one.
Hey, let's get another one. This thing is fucked.
When I'm in there like that, it's like I get so upset. I'm holding the ball and like trying not to be like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
Not trying to squeeze it because my arm hurts. Everything hurts. I'm like, this is the worst thing ever. Get me out of here.
So this is a little dark, but it's like, you know how it's so tight and confined? It's like before they slaughter cows, they do that. They like confine
we
them.
got?
With, like, tight. I'm just saying they
It's
like
a fucking
squeeze them
children's
tight
show, Dakota.
because it makes you comfortable. Like it's comfortable to be
Not for
like,
me. Not for
enclosed
me.
like
That
that.
might be what
is.
happens in Michigan, but not for the
I'm
rest of
just
us. Let's
telling
do
you the facts of life. I'm trying to
do Sloan
spread
screen
knowledge.
time. Let's do Sloan screen time presented by our partners at Sloan. We're gonna get away from Dakota's
I told you it was a little
talk
dark.
real fast. Yep, we're just gonna run away from that one. Sloan's the world's leading manufacturer of commercial plumbing systems. Companies at the forefront of the green building movement and provide smart, sustainable, and hygienic restroom solutions by manufacturing water-efficient products, including flushometers, faucets, sink systems, soap dispensers. I saw a great flushometer the other day.
Ooh.
Fixtures for commercial, industrial, and institutional markets worldwide. To learn more, visit sloan.com. Hope everybody, when they're going to the bathroom in a public place, is going, look at that Sloan technology. It's unbelievable. I saw one the other day and I said, that is next generation stuff. It's next generation flushing.
Heck yeah.
Lead us off, Dakota.
327.
Ooh, 327.
Pretty good day. Pretty good day. Solid day.
357.
Let's go. I thought you were gonna have a high one today. You said you didn't do anything. Zach
No,
also
good day.
sent me a video laying on his floor at like noon, just playing with Chop. He was messing with Chop. He was fake barking, and Chop would freak out. It was really funny.
Tom?
323.
Oh,
Wow.
Tom.
Dakota, is that under
no,
you?
You won, didn't you, Ian?
3 hours and 7 minutes.
You're
I'm
disgusting.
sorry,
I was
Tom.
like, Tom won, but I was like, no, Ian has.
I'm
That's a
sorry,
great day from
Tom.
all of us.
That is a great day from all of us. We were all productive today. We were all
Wow.
not on our phones, being productive. Tom, I'm proud of you, man. I'm real proud of you. Take that little trophy behind you for second place. All right. You take that, hold on to it. A little second place finish.
Wait till the last week of the year, the last episode we filmed this year. I'm just gonna have to throw my phone in the ocean and just guaranteeing I will not look at it all day.
It's gonna be
I have
2
to win
minutes.
one. I can't go on. I can't go winless.
It'll be 2 minutes just to text us and confirm that we're recording at that time.
That is the Sloan Screen Time. That's episode 182 of the Compound Podcast presented by Parse Rum. Go get your Parse. Go to Benny's, go to your local liquor store, ask about Parse, have a drink. It's getting cold out there. Maybe a little 8-year. We'll see you next week for episode 183 and a full World Series recap.